You've just found the Montana Outdoor Podcast. Here, you'll discover the people and places that make Montana like no other place in the world. If you love to fish, hunt, or just enjoy creating your own adventure in the outdoors, you have come to the right place. The Montana Outdoor Podcast is brought to you by Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer, home of Boss Snowplows and Accessories, and Diamond Sea Trailers and Accessories. Go to rmtte.com and see everything they have waiting for you online, or just come by 5680 Expressway in Missoula, and by Superior Hardwoods of Montana, delivering the highest quality lumber, paneling, flooring, and reclaimed wood products anywhere in North America. Let them guide you through the woods at their showroom in Missoula on Highway 93 South or at superior-hardwoods.com. Now, let's go discover Montana's great outdoors with your host, Downrigger Dale. Have a great show, buddy. Can't wait to hear it.
Thank you very much, Roger. And as Roger just said, I am Downrigger Dale with the Montana Outdoor Podcast, and want to welcome all of our active military all across the United States and bases around the world. And that we are so proud that so many of you out there doing your great things and protecting us around the world. When you get a little time off, you watch this podcast, and that means a lot to us. So thank you very much for your service, and I hope this podcast brings a little home back to you wherever you are. We just love what you do for our country. And speaking of loving what you do for our country, I also want to give a big thank you, shout out to all of our veterans that are watching and listening around Montana and around the rest of the United States. Welcome, and thank you for your service. It is something we will never forget, and thank you so much. Now, another thing that I want to be sure and remind you, our promotional folks that do all the behind-the-scenes work on this great podcast, and I couldn't do it without them, so thank you. They always want me to remind you to please like, subscribe, and share this podcast. That helps us a lot on YouTube and all the other places you can find the podcast on, about 40 of them now around the internet. So if you would please be sure and subscribe, like, and share the podcast. That really does help us out a lot and helps us keep going. Another thing I would like to remind you is there are two companies that make this whole thing possible. That is Superior Hardwoods of Montana. I'll tell you more about them in the podcast, as I always do, and Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. Both of them have been just amazing sponsors and have done so much to make sure this podcast keeps going. So thank you. And whenever you're needing any of the things that they do, which I know you're gonna, use them because they're amazing. So I'll tell you more about that as we go along. So let's bring in my guest, Garrett Ostler. And Garrett's a good friend of ours, has been on this podcast a few times, but you hear him if you watch the Montana Outdoor Radio Show, and if you've never watched it or listened to it, you ought to. It's a lot of fun. It's live every Saturday morning. And Garrett comes on quite often, gives us reports from West Yellowstone. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And Garrett, welcome back to the Montana Outdoor Podcast. So great to have you. And
thank you.
So great that we are getting very close to the 14th annual Hebgen Lake fishing tournament. This ice fishing tournament, this is now 14 years. You've been involved from the beginning, haven't you, Garrett?
14 years. I've been involved since the beginning. I broke my arm the first year, I still fished. I could only use one hand and had to hold the reel in my hand to reel it up because my left arm I broke my humerus.
Oh, my goodness.
So I have quite a history with the tournament, and it was on a practice day that I did that. And we've seen some pretty good things, but not anything that good. But if you go out and see my YouTube page, you can see how to clean a trout without using a knife or two hands. And that's pretty entertaining.
All right. I'm going to put a link. I'm going to put a link to that in the podcast description so people can see that. Which, speaking of that,
it's knifeless trout cleaning.
Knifeless trout cleaning. We got to see that.
Yeah. Well, that's on YouTube. That's a pretty fun one.
Speaking of the
But
podcast description, there are a lot of other links in there. Of course, a link to the tournament, because we do want you to. There are still spots available in the tournament, isn't there, Garrett? So
yes, absolutely.
We want. I don't care where you're from. You need to travel to West Yellowstone coming up Saturday the 16th. Friday the 16th, Saturday the 17th.
Correct.
And fish this tournament. The tournament's on the 17th, and this is a great one. We're going to get into all the particulars of that tournament, one of the richest, and I might add, most fun ice fishing tournaments you will ever take part in. It is a blast. Yes, there's some big money involved, but also there's a lot of fun involved, and I'm going to get into that a bit. But for those of you that maybe don't ice fish and never have any intention of ice fishing, there's a lot on this podcast for you too. There's a whole another world of wintertime fun in West Yellowstone. A lot of you may not know this about West Yellowstone, but it is definitely a destination if you like to go out and have fun, especially those of you that maybe have spent too many winters indoors and you're saying, this is my year, I'm going to get out and do things. We're going to have a ton of ideas for you, so don't go anywhere. In fact, let's start with one of the ideas that this fishing tournament coming up benefits one of the programs that I think is a signature program that you guys do in West Yellowstone that really is a great example. I hope a lot of other towns start to do this or something similar. Talk about your Kids in Snow program and what that is and how that benefits from this tournament.
Generally, there's a Kids in Snow program that they do dog sledding in town. They go into the park on a sample test and get to ride a big snow coach in there. They have a sledding hill that people get to go on. They do s'mores and sledding at night. There is cross-country skiing and or snowshoeing they do. They have some 120 snowmobiles that they run around in the park, and the kids can come up and get the firsthand experience driving their own snowmobile. And that gets pretty exciting sometimes, keeping them on the track. But the thing is so many people think, oh, I see all this white stuff out there and it looks miserable. When you get involved and you get your feet in the snow, you get the right gear and people who know how to stay warm and know how to have fun in it, and they teach you those tricks, it really becomes a part of the magic. And that white snow, cold stuff turns into white sunshine. And it just really, it lightens your day. You can't be depressed and be out doing those things. The Bear and Wolf Discovery Center takes part in this, so they get to go to the Bear and Wolf Discovery Center. There is a lot to do, let alone the ice fishing camp that we do. And we do that from 8 in the morning till noon so that they can go and do some of these other things. And it's not just a single facet of this diamond that we have here. It really is quite a program. And I really have fun because you have never seen so much excitement as having a fish on a line coming out of the hole and 20 kids gathered around that hole going, I gotta see it. You know, it is so fun.
It really is great.
Then after them touching it, feeling it, if the kids don't choose to release it, the entertainment for hours where kids are playing with that fish, understanding they've never seen one except for on TV. And it's
they're
just
learning
wonderful.
what a real fish is. Yeah. And what's awesome about this, and by the way, there is also a link to the Kids in Snow program, and what we're going to talk about the dates on that. I think the first one coming up here is the 7th of February, right?
7th of February, 7th of March, and then we're going to extend it out to the 4th of April. We've had to cancel the one in December here the last couple of years in a row. And so I extended that out, and we won't have the rest of the Kids in Snow program with the 4th of April, but we still want to hold one so that we give these people an opportunity, and hopefully we can get a few more families on the ice to really enjoy that and have a great time.
Yeah.
When the kids come to the Kids in Snow thing, we teach them how to tie knots. We teach them about ice safety. We teach them how to stay dry and warm and off the ice. Then we teach them how to tie their first hook on. We have them tie their first hook on, and then we bring them out, and it's on their very own rod that comes through this participation. And then they get to drop it in there. And when the kids fish on their own rod, it's one thing. I had kids come back out with me a week ago, Monday, and they brought their own rods, and they were just as happy as could be to bring those little Shakespeare rods that we give them as part of this. That's what the benefits are, is we're able to get the rods, we get hooks and things like that. They have top-notch gear. It's not the best gear, but it's to get them out there and to get the families.
Kids. Yeah. And thanks to the sponsors of Kids in Snow, and really that's where you all, as participants in this tournament coming up here soon, you're going to help that as well. And what I love about that is that these kids are learning something they can do for the rest of their life. And it's a reason for them to get out and get off the couch, get away from the video games, and learn this whole new thing. And what we were talking just before this show, and we were talking about how you notice kids will be out there, and you see this even with the teenagers. They're out there doing things, and then all of a sudden they are putting their phone down and concentrating on fishing. Pretty soon, they haven't touched a phone in a long time. You know, they're
the longest all year.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just such a wonderful thing that the Kids in Snow program is. So that's another reason you're going to want to come back to West Yellowstone. And of course, Mom and Dad, you'll love the fact that what Garrett and his whole crew have done to teach your kids all about nature and about all the things that they can learn. But there's plenty for Mom and Dad to do as well. We'll get into that. But I do want to make sure that our ice fishermen know a lot about what's coming up. So not that we're going to be serious through the whole thing, because Garrett and I are never able to be too dang serious, but we are going to get serious a little bit about the fact that you ice fishermen out there really need to go ahead and pull the trigger and sign up for this fishing tournament. It is an amazing tournament. It's a lot of fun, but it's competitive too. So Garrett, how many people do you have signed up so far, and how many can you hold as far as participants in the fishing tournament, which is coming up this month? Now, it's the 16th. Friday is when they need to be here, right? And then the 17th is the tournament on Saturday.
Yeah, so you sign up online at West Yellowstone MTIcefishing.com. And on the front page, on the homepage, there's a registration button. You can just click on that, and that'll take you to the place where you register. It's $250 for a team, and there's a few fees in there. It ends up being like $270 by the time we're all said and done. But when you sign up, you get signed up for this, and it is a team. This is not a family fishing event on Saturday. It is a two-person team. It's highly competitive, big money. And so Friday is when you come up and you practice and you bring your family out and you can help explore and, fish a bunch of different holes. But on tournament day, you follow all the Montana state rules. You got 2 rods, 2 people. You have to surrender 6 fish to weigh in. That means both of you must catch a fish, because the legal limit in Montana is 5. So if you only catch 5 fish and one guy catches them, it's actually illegal for you to turn that in. And not just illegal, it's unethical. And we'd like to think that, we understand that most fishermen lie, right? This 2-foot long fish is about like this held out, you know?
I've got one of those rulers.
I got these little hands that I put on. If you see in our poster, I put these little hands on my fingers, and it looked pretty good. But when you turn those in, we award the prize based on the heaviest amount of fish in that 6 fish limit. There's also a big fish contest, and one we don't talk about, but we have the most fun with. And I've won this several times. is the smallest fish.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I have this, I have this ability to go out and catch the smallest fish. And when I went out 3 years ago was the last time I actually participated, because it's just not good form for the tournament director to be out there fishing and turn in a winning weight, right?
Yeah.
Well, when I
Yeah.
was fishing, I put the line down just like we normally do, is that after you drill a hole, usually that's a bite comes right then. And I set the line, brought it up, and people were looking at me going like, holy cow, he's got one already. Bring it up. And it was a 4-inch fish. At that time of the day, with my record, we keep every fish that we catch on tournament day. So I kept it. And these other guys that were looking on, you could just hear them chuckling and laughing
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had to weigh that fish as part of my catch, because I only had 4 fish and my buddy caught one. And
Did they
so
have a
it
scale
is
that
that
small,
competitive.
Garrett?
Yeah. I wear those badges with pride in that.
That's right.
I don't lie about it. And it's just kind of fun. And, but there are some wonderful catches. We've got these guys that always seem to find a big brown or big rainbows. You've got to average probably about 2.5 pounds of fish to be in the big money.
Okay.
And last year we had a 4.9 pound brown turned in. So that was a nice fish that won the big fish contest. And the guys who won last year won the year previous too. And they're out of Idaho and that, but we have fishermen from Canada, from Wisconsin, from Pittsburgh, everywhere. And then we have the locals, and you'd think the locals would do better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, but we struggle. And it's a pretty tough fishing, and you get all that activity all of a sudden on the lake, and it can cause the fish to think about it. I follow the sonar charts, and I use, one thing we tell the kids, when they're looking at doing this, you have your phone that will give you the map, and you can record or take pictures of the fish where you were. And then you have the sonar charts that are on your phone, and you can get fish finders that you can drop in a hole and it'll broadcast to your phone. So then it involves them with doing productive things on their phone that is going to improve their day's catch. And so we teach those kids that, and we're doing all this. Well, this year we happen to be on the best fishing percentage for the sonar charts that I've ever seen. Usually we always do it around a full moon, and this one's on a new moon. And so I'm thinking we're going to have more fish caught this year than we have in the past. The shocking thing is,
for folks that don't know what a sonar chart is, tell us what that is.
A sonar chart is a series of information put in that goes off of what the sun and the moon position is. So the tides, and then some historical data that they tie into it as far as things go, and then the weather also in there. And so today was a 10% day, and we went out with 3 of us, and we all caught a fish. We had a good time, but the fish just weren't committing. They would come up and take a look at your bait and say, "Man, maybe another day."
So when you say it's a 10% day, that means pretty low possibilities of catching a lot of fish.
Right. And when you go out and it says a 90% plus day, usually the fish are cooperating really well. And the way I think of that is, of course, there's barometric pressures and everything like that still affects fish under the ice. And it's kind of like going into a restaurant. If you walk in and they sit you down and you got an air conditioner blowing on you, you got loud music, you don't feel like eating much. Well, that's kind of the tides and the different conditions that go on. And the sonar charts take those things that are fixed data, like lunar patterns and tides and stuff, and give you a percentage. And then of course, you got the kind of the deal breaker is the barometric pressures. And I wouldn't have believed this, but over the years that I've used this, more times than not, I'll go back and look at the pictures of when I've taken pictures of fish and the times, and then look at the chart in retrospect. And I am surprised how accurate it is. And I use them, but I usually...
What's the sonar chart supposed to be for the 17th?
It's supposed to be a 90% day.
Whoa.
And it's right in the peak of our fishing tournament. So from about 10 until 1, we're in prime time. It's just like you couldn't have planned it any perfect. And I didn't look at that until today when I was, coming home, and I stopped at the light and I said, I wonder what it is, because we didn't have a very good day today, and did the comparison. I went, wow, maybe I need to look at that for when we set the date. We have to set it clear back in June, which you can still see. And people will say, that can't be accurate. I'm telling you, there's something to it.
Well, the ancients, they followed that stuff, and pretty accurate, So for those of you that might be on the fence about coming to this fishing tournament, that ought to move you right off the fence right there, because at 90%, that means everybody's got a pretty darn good shot at getting a big old piece of that $10,000 or maybe even more. So that ought to be reason enough right there to get to West Yellowstone and do that here in a few weeks.
It will improve that. We always have some teams that fail to catch fish. And I fish every day on Hebgen once there's ice. Every day I fish, except for Sunday. And, if I have something else I have to do. I have turned 0 days on tournament day.
Oh, sure. It happens.
And it just happens.
But, that's why they call it fishing and not catching. But when you got a 90% day, that turns things around a bit.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go over the important dates and times that folks need to be part of it. One, they need to get to the website and be sure and join and sign up. But then they got to be here on Friday, correct? On the 16th.
Correct. At 5 p.m. on Friday, we have a rules meeting held at the Yellowstone. The light, please. We have a rules meeting and a Calcutta. And so there we go over the basic rules. And it's really that basic, is that obey the Montana rules, have your machines registered, have your license and stuff like that. That's my best catch of the day right there, my wife. And that.
Yeah, there she is. Now we got a little light on you. We can see you. There we go. Hi.
You do that, and then we auction off the teams to who can place first, second, or third in the tournament. And so that's another way to get a little bit additional money, and anybody can buy those. So you could be the last place fisherman, and as long as
you're talking about, right?
The Calcutta. And if you buy the winning team, then you can win some money by them winning too. So that's another way that you can help. But that half of that money on the Calcutta comes back to that Kids in Snow program. And so that's where we try to have some more fun. And we hold that meeting at the Yellowstone Beer Company there on Madison Avenue, and everybody's welcome to come to it. And that's part of what makes it fun. So we get the whole families there. We have some good food and stuff. And then we go out and fish the next morning, starting at 7 till 2, weigh all the fish, scramble back, and we assemble a meeting with a dinner meeting for our awards banquet.
Okay.
And
now, and so that starts at 5 o'clock, right, Garrett? Just want to make sure we got that in. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what about if people want to pre-fish on Friday? Is that allowed?
Friday, you can fish all day long up until 4 p.m.
Okay.
And then at 4 p.m., you have to be off the lake. And we have people down there watching and we make sure that everybody has cleared all their tents off and everything like that. And it goes from mile marker 15 down to the dam. So that's basically the front of the Firehole Ranch. And then there's a sign over on the highway right at mile marker 15 that says caution bison roaming. And so everybody kind of knows that. And if not, we make sure they do and we have people patrolling to make sure they don't go beyond there to fish. And everybody thinks
that's what I have up on the up on the screen right now, for those of you at home watching, that's that map that you're seeing, and that's the area that you can fish. And the red part down there, I assume that's the no-go.
The red part is, well, I'm not seeing what you're seeing, but on our website, it shows it very clearly that it's in between mile marker 15 and the dam. And the only other stipulation is you can't fish any open water. So down at the dam where the weir is, and they're letting the water out, that will get open. We don't want anybody close enough to that to be taking a dip. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And don't want to go through the ice.
Has to be pulled through a hole. And most of all our competitors are our best judges because they're watching everybody else. And then if they see something go on, we just say, take a little video, show us what's going on. If you do something to disqualify, I'll be the first to point you the direction to go home.
Yeah.
And
well, we're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we're going to go over those times for Saturday and all that, so you guys get it. We'll get that website in for you one more time as well to make sure, well, several times. I want to really make sure that you guys get signed up. And when I say you guys, I mean you guys and gals. I want everybody to get involved in this. Yeah. It's a great tournament. So we'll be back right after this and get more on the tournament. And then we've got a few surprises for you, some other incredible things that you can do at West Yellowstone. So don't go away. Are you going to get out to your favorite ice fishing hole this year? Yeah, I know. Finding the time is always the hard part, isn't it? Well, Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer can help you get the things done that you have to do so you have time to do the things you want to do. How about clearing the driveway or work areas of snow? Yeah, that can be a time sucker for sure. Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer has just what you need. A huge selection of Boss snowplows and accessories that'll fit any truck or ATV even. Boss snowplows are flat amazing at removing snow fast. Or how about something that can serve you at both work and on your next adventure outdoors? Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer has awesome Diamond C utility trailers and accessories that can haul work equipment during the week, and then your ATV or snowmobile or other awesome outdoor toys on the weekend. Of course, Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer also has an amazing service department with top technicians and parts pros that are ready to fix or replace whatever you need, from installing a new fifth wheel or gooseneck hitch, or even rewiring the lights on your trailer so they work the way they're supposed to. What about getting some other time-saving accessories for your truck installed? That, my friends, is for sure one of their specialties. And get this, Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer can even help with financing. Yeah, they've got you covered. This is going to be a great winter season, my friends, especially if you go see Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. They're in Missoula at 5680 Expressway. You can call them at 406-549-4243. Or check them out online at rmtte.com. That's Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer, rmtte.com. Get a hold of them today and then start planning that trip. Back here on the Montana Outdoor Podcast, Garrett Ostler is my guest. He is the tournament director for the Hebgen Lake Ice Fishing Tournament, the 14th annual, coming up. The 16th is Friday. Got to be there for the rules meeting at 5 o'clock. And then Saturday is the big day. Everybody gets out there, and somebody's going to get a big hunk of money, as well as how many places do you guys award money for in this, Garrett?
Cash awards goes down to 10th place.
10th place, okay. So it could be as high as $10,000. Could be even higher than $10,000, depending on how many people sign up, right?
No one takes home $10,000. It's
right.
$10,000 is divided among those top 10 players.
Yeah, you divvy it up amongst the 10 places.
It's divided up, but the more we get, the better. And so we have up to a maximum of 75 teams that can show up. And we're at about 35 teams right now. And everybody waits to see what the weather is. Weather's the weather. Come and fish. And, we just enjoy fishing. And if you're an ice fisherman, who cares about weather?
Exactly. Yeah, we're all dressed for it. And I think a lot of people were waiting to see, is the tournament going to be on? And it is for sure going to be on. There's enough ice, so it is happening. Be there on the 16th. You're going to compete on the 17th. So let's go over times and what's going to happen Saturday morning. When do they start?
Saturday morning at 7 a.m. will be the latest that we start, but we'll try to get people lined up. When you register, that is your starting order. Okay. So those guys who are number 1s and 2s, they know to be in line, and we tell them to be in line by 6:30. At 6:30, we're going to inspect you. Once you're inspected, you go to the ice, you stay on the ice all day until you come back. And if one of you comes back, both of you got to come back. And so you go out.
So then, about 7 o'clock, that's when the people in line, they start going out and they get set up. Now, does everybody drill a hole at the same time, or how does that work?
They can, as soon as we release you to the ice, you could start fishing in the marina if you wanted. But it takes so much time that by 6:30, we'll start the inspection. As soon as you're inspected, you can go. And means that you're in your starting order, you can get out there. There's no shotgun time or anything like that. So those who sign up early have a little bit of an advantage in that, but it's not much because we're trying to, we've got enough guys inspecting. We're getting people out on the ice quickly. And all we do is we inspect anything that can hold a fish. We want to see in. We want to make sure you're not taking a fish out. And when your fish come back in, they've got to look and appear as if they've been caught that day. They've got to be soft and malleable, not frozen hard. And that a frozen hard fish disqualifies. You don't get it. And so you have to turn them in. I know what a fish looks like caught on that day or the day previous. And there's several other of us that do. And we hopefully we don't have to make that judgment, but we have people who participate with us in good, clean competition and honor in the game. So then you have to be back in line to weigh in. We can't weigh them in. Everybody wants to come in at 1:30 to 2 o'clock, and you get 50 teams lined up. So we have somebody out there at the end of the line. When the clock strikes 2, if you're not in line, you don't get to weigh your fish.
Right.
I mean,
so 2 o'clock, everybody's got to be out of the water and in line.
In line to weigh a fish. And we'll have.
So then once everybody's got weighed in and all that, then you guys have a dinner later that Saturday then?
Yeah, the Yellowstone Beer Company will put on a fine spread for us. We'll have a buffet type style thing to where they can come up and get what they'd like. They can drink all they want. They just need to be responsible with what they do there. And it's a fine establishment, and everybody's having a good time. We try to get through it as quick as possible because there's a lot of other places to go in town. People love to go down to the Wild West. There's actually activity down in Island Park that day that some people are saying, hey, I hope we get done in time so we can go down to Island Park and go to their festivities. It's all 20 miles away. And so there's a lot of things going on that we want them to have fun with too. And then of course, we wrap it up on a Saturday, so it gives you time to go home and at a relaxed pace and not be such in a hurry and being tired. And so you could sleep in, get up and go to the Grizzley Wolf Discovery Center or come out and go fishing again.
The website again is West Yellowstone MTIcefishing.com. That's on the screen right now. And also, it is in the podcast description. You click on that, and that's where you register and get everything done. Now, let's talk a bit about some of the other things that West Yellowstone offers, because this is a wonderful, wonderful community. And this is what's great about it. So if you bring the whole family, and let's say Dad loves to compete in the tournament, but Mom and the kids want to do something else. So give us some ideas for if they come down a day or two early, what are some of the things everybody can do around West Yellowstone?
Well, a lot of our sponsors are the big companies in town, Three Bear Lodge, Alpen Guides, Backcountry Adventures, Delaware North. They all have tours that go into Yellowstone. If you haven't been into Yellowstone during the winter, you haven't
That
been to
is so
Yellowstone.
neat.
It
Yeah.
is so beautiful, and it is
Yeah.
like being on another planet. And but the bison are cooperating well. The only bad thing about winter is you don't see the bears.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. They're
if
sleeping.
you want to
Yeah.
see bears, we've got an alternative plan. We've got the Bear and Wolf Discovery Center, and they have food every day, so the bears don't hibernate there. And
Okay.
those bears and wolves over there, they got an otter exhibit. They have a nice cutthroat trout exhibit. Um, really an awesome place to go and experience that. And I have to be careful how I say this. They let the kids go into the cage to feed the bears. So they get to hide the food as an enrichment thing. And I always joke that they ring a bell and you have to hurry and get out before they let the bear out. But that's not true.
No.
They, they make sure they're all safe and get out and do things. But it's such an awesome place.
What
That's
an
one of my
exciting
favorite places
thing for the
to send
kids and,
people.
well, really, kids and big kids too.
Yeah.
That's an awesome
Yeah.
deal. Wow.
A lot of parents love to go there and they can hang out. They got warm places to sit. It's outside and you can watch the wolves from a heated indoor place where they got a big glass thing and the wolves behave. And in the evenings, just about dark, you'll hear them wolves light off and howl. And it's
Oh,
just
really?
magic.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Make the hair stand right up on the back of your neck. But
Yeah.
we've got that. We've got, of course, for the adults, you have the Wild West, the Buffalo Bar and Hanks, and all these fine food establishments to go to. Um, on the kids and snow weekends, we have all those for the adults and things like that, but you have all the activities that the kids get to do. And, I've never been on a dog sled or mushed a dog sled, but I've helped with the races and stuff. And it's amazing watching those dogs and what they can do. And we have
Yeah.
people who come up here and you can schedule things to go out and do dog sledding things with them. And they'll take you out and you go for miles on them, not just, in a park or something. You're out in the national forest going down on dog sleds. You can do that. You can go out to the Parade Rest Ranch and ride a sleigh with the drawn horses and stuff. And they have a fine dinner that they do with that too. There's a bunch of different things, the destination Yellowstone.com and the winter activities page can really get you pointed in the different directions. You could rent a snowmobile from Backcountry or from Yellowstone Adventures or Three Bear Lodge. You could go out to Two Top Mountain up there where the hoodoos and goblins are up there, that are these trees that are just caked with this snow. And it is
Yeah.
something like, again, from another planet or under the ocean so far. But that is a special place to do. And you can go over to Big Springs where you can see fish as long as your arm, trout, come up and eat. And I always take a pocket full of mealworms over there. And I sacrifice my
Mhm.
mealworms there to feed them guys, because there's some 10 to 15 pound trout in there that come up and eat them
Wow.
things. And boy, it makes you wish you could catch them, but
Yeah.
it's just great to honor their beauty and seeing them in the water. But, outdoor activities here in West are not limited. You have also cross country skiing you can do on the Rendezvous Trail system, and you can
Mhm.
rent cross country equipment from Free Hill and Wheel. And a lot of places, like I saw down in the Holiday Inn the other day, they have snowshoes you can rent there, and you can come down and go down to Beaver Creek and go by the campground. They have a really nice trail that goes out there, and you're looking over in the Madison River and all that rocky country and everything down in there, right by Quake Lake. Man, it is really
Yeah.
quite the experience. Really.
It's so amazing that all this goes on right there at West Yellowstone and, and out and beyond. And it's in the winter, and you're seeing this whole other side of Montana that so many of us have never seen. Especially one of the things I want you to describe for everybody is those snow coach tours into Yellowstone Park. Now, is that something that's still going on with those fancy snow coaches they get in and take people into
Yes.
Yellowstone?
Right now, because of our limited snow, we only have about a foot of snow on the ground out here, and that's about a third of what we normally have by this time of year. And
You got
they're
more
in
coming.
yeah, there's more coming, and we need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now they're going in. They have these great big low pressure air tires, and the tires are like 20 inches wide, and they're about 4 foot tall. And you're in these heated vans. If you rent the whole van, get a bunch of your friends and family to come up, you can have your little party in there, have all the food you want, take your warm clothes, and then you go up to places and you get out to look at Black Sand Basin, or go up to Great Fountain and stuff. And you can go around and see all these things at Old Faithful. And there's nothing quite as magic as to be walking the trail at Old Faithful, and all of a sudden you hear a geyser go off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you may be a half mile away, and all of a sudden you hear, and you turn around and you look and see this great big plume of steam, and you can see the water, and it is just magic, and you can just feel it in the air. And then all of a sudden another one will go off, and you just don't know where it's going to go off next. And it is really special to experience that. And if not, you can go around and go see the falls over there on the Yellowstone River. That's also a fantastic thing. Now,
Yeah, once
that's
again,
what you
in
can
the
do out
winter, a
west.
whole different world. Yeah.
It's a whole different world. And, for those who want to come in through Gardner, you can go from Gardner over to Cook City in the winter and use your car if the road's open. And that when there's tough snow, they, of course, have a tough time keeping that open. It's dangerous to be in there and exposed to that, and especially if you don't have good driving skills. But you can also get tours over there. And there's where they see most of the wolf activity is in Lamar Valley. But I'm telling you what, they had a wolf take down a bison in the Madison River the other day, right by 7 Mile Bridge.
Whoa.
So all those kids that were up here for Kids in Snow doing that free snow coach tour in there got to see wolves. And that right there, just 7 miles from town, there's a nice pack there that comes out, and they do what wolves do in the park.
Yeah.
And it's pretty nice, getting those opportunities. But, West Yellowstone is just an awesome place that it's changing.
The perfect base place, isn't it? The perfect
Yes.
place to base out of in the winter, because there's just, from there, you can just go to all these places and learn so much. The thing about in Yellowstone in the winter that I found so fascinating was we're used to seeing Yellowstone where there's a crowd of people all the time, pretty much wherever you go. In the winter, it's so quiet, and there's not that many people. It's just it's a way to experience the park that'll blow you away. You'll never forget it.
A crowd at Old Faithful in the winter is probably a couple hundred people.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Commonly, you're there with less than 50 people seeing that go off. And that is a much more intimate situation. And I tell you, the magic of Old Faithful and how it consistently still goes off is amazing. And that, but, Yellowstone in itself, the other day they saw Steamboat Geyser go off, which is the world's largest. And that thing shoots 300 and some odd feet into the air. And it went off, and people were showing pictures of that. It's not real common, and it's not as predictable as it's been in the last few years, but there are just, every day's unique. There is no 2 days exactly the same in Yellowstone, no matter what. And I've seen Old Faithful probably 1,500 times or more. Every time I take a picture, every time I'm excited. I love Yellowstone. It's just wonderful.
Now, and you can't drive into the park in the wintertime yourself.
No.
You have to do either a snow coach tour or something like that. So that's the
Snowmobile
other thing
tour.
to remember, folks, is you're not going to be able to just take the car in. But I think that's what makes it so special, and why it keeps it, a limited number of people in that. So these are all things in the podcast description. You're going to find links to all these things that you can learn more about, make reservations for, and that. So just remember that it's not just about this fishing tournament, which is great, and we want you there for sure, but all winter long, you're going to find these incredible things to do in West Yellowstone. So I really hope that the whole family's going to look at that and make your plans. But, why not, if you're coming down for the fishing tournament, maybe come a day or two ahead of time and stay a day or two longer. Why not? I mean, this is a great time to do it.
Yes. Yes. And, the streets are kind of not loaded up. A lot of the shops are open if you really like souvenirs and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's a great time to come, and the shops are not all full. There's usually some good deals to be had because it is a slower time of year. Rates on rooms are very favorable, and it makes it more affordable to grab a snowmobile and go for a ride or get one of the tours, and that because the rates in the winter are lower than during the summer. It's just a different demand. But another thing I just like to maybe put out there is that,
sure,
the Kids in Snow program is a 501c3 charitable contribution thing. If you happen to find yourself in a way that you want to share the love and passion of your sport, and you have the opportunity, you can donate to the Kids in Snow ice fishing program. It'd be very much appreciated by those and by me. I don't get anything out of it other than the, holy cow, look at this fish, and having the kids with the picture. That is better than any money you could ever get. But we could use your help in helping put that on.
You've been doing this long enough to where, have you run across some of these little kids that fish maybe for the first time with you that are now almost adults that are coming up to you and saying, hey,
yes,
I was one of those little ones. Talk about that.
Yeah. I had a kid the other day. I brought 2 kids out that came 2 years ago, Monday, and we fished with their little poles. And they said, we don't want to use your poles. We want to use the ones you gave us in the Kids in Snow program. And so we did that. I did have another one where a 16-year-old kid came up and he fished. And I saw him out on the ice the other day. And I said, it seems like I know you. And he says, maybe this will tell you. And he opened up his rod box and pulled out his little yellow Shakespeare rod.
Oh, no.
He says, that tell you? And I says, man, we did it good. And he says, you see this auger? I got this auger here too, because I was there that day that you gave out an auger and that. So sometimes we're known to give out augers to families that come up and fish with us, that, if they come out and they last the day and they catch fish and stuff like that, we'll give them an auger, because it's about putting families on ice, not just a person. And families is really where ice fishing gets magic, because you have moms come out. In that tent Monday, I had a 4-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an infant baby in her mom's arms. And the whole family was out there in the tent having a great time. And their mother is just like, "Gal, you've started a problem. I'm going to have to buy a tent. I'm going to have to buy a heater."
Yeah.
And he says, my kids see that fish finder you've got, and that's all they can talk about. And I said, well, that will come in time. Other ones work good. And we let all our kids, I have like 10 fish finders that I bring out, and all those kids get to use those fish finders on their own.
But for parents, that's a good problem to have when your youngins are now saying, I want to get out. I want to get out and do this.
Yep.
I mean, that's a parent's dream come true, that kids want to get outside in the winter and go enjoy and discover and all that. What are the age groups for the Kids in Snow program?
Kids in Snow, we try to cut it off at about 16, 17 and that. But most people that we get there are, in the 5 to 12 range and that. And it is so fun. And it is just the magic. Maybe what we need to do is get the captain and Dale up here one day when we're doing it and just see all these kids have fun. And you cannot not enjoy yourself when one of those kids catches a fish. And one time, I got to tell you this story. We had a little gal come in, and she was kind of a special needs gal, a little autistic or so. And she was just focused right on the fish finder, right on the fish fin. And she's reeling up slowly, and all of a sudden she catches this fish and has a fish on, and it's going pretty good. Well, the fish bumps her off on the ice, as they do. Well, that hook snagged the ice, and she went on to fight that for about 10 minutes. And I didn't want the adults to tell her, you just got the ice. But then, but that was exciting, and everybody's piled around. We shot some video of it, not knowing that she was on the ice, but the excitement was still there. And boy, it was disappointing. She's the only person I know that almost caught some ice fishing.
Yeah. Well, but see, these are memories that they're going to have for the rest of their life. But what you've done is you've taught them to do something they can do the rest of their life. And I'm telling you what, it changes a person when they all of a sudden end up getting in touch with nature. You become, I'm just saying, you end up growing up to be a better person. You just do.
You do.
There's this whole new appreciation you have. And I think you just spend more time out there and that. So anyway, if you maybe can't get to West Yellowstone, but you want to go to the podcast description and maybe donate something to help this program continue on, or maybe you're a business owner and you would like to, maybe sponsor it for a few seasons. They would love it. And
we would love it.
Important things. Yeah. And that way the kids don't have to pay to get rods and things like that. It's just what you guys do is you're making better people. You really are.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you guys. We're going to take one last break, and when we come back, we'll wrap it up with Garrett Ostler. We'll one more time kind of go over the basics of the fishing tournament one more time, because it's vital that we fill that thing up, because I really want to see this tournament go off with it maxed out. And I just think you guys are going to have a lot of fun. So we'll go over that one more time, and I'll ask him a few other questions, and then we'll let him get to it, because I know he's got a lot of planning to do. So we'll do that right after this. I want to take a minute to thank Superior Hardwoods of Montana for their support of this podcast. It is what allows us to bring you the latest from Montana's great outdoors, with very few interruptions, by the way. That said, there is another reason we are lucky to have Superior Hardwoods of Montana on board. They are an amazing business that can offer all of you some of the most incredible wood products you have ever seen. Plus, Superior Hardwoods of Montana is still a place that actually cares about and appreciates their customers, the same way we appreciate you, our viewers and listeners. They offer you something original and totally unique, like their 11 acres of wood wall paneling, flooring, trim, beams, slabs, well, you name it. Every single piece has a story behind it. Wood from old barns, historic homesteads, even historic factories. And that amazing wood can be part of your story too. Right there in your home can be a piece of American history, brought back to life, custom milled and refinished to your specifications. So it not only tells its original story, but also speaks to who you are and how special your home is. Superior Hardwoods also has exotic woods, live edge slabs, pre-finished and unfinished flooring too, all in stock and ready to go. Need help picking out the right material? Just ask. Their team has been doing this since 1977. They know how to guide you through the woods. Swing into their beautiful showroom at 5120 Highway 93 South in Missoula, or you can just check them out online at superior-hardwoods.com. That's Superior Hardwoods of Montana, local, knowledgeable, family-run, and ready to help you build something that lasts. Let them guide you through the woods at superior-hardwoods.com. Superior Hardwoods of Montana. Go see. We are back here on the Montana Outdoor Podcast. Garrett Ostler is my guest. Garrett, I want to thank you so much for all the time you've taken with me today and learning about West Yellowstone and all these amazing, magical things to do. Let's go over all the basics of the Hebgen Lake ice fishing tournament one more time. Let's start with Friday. Just kind of take us through from Friday all the way through of when we got to be there, what we got to do, how much it costs, all the goodies.
I'm going to back it up one step.
Okay.
You must register online prior to Friday. You must register online. And that's it. West Yellowstone MT icefishing.com. Then when you get here, after that, you got to make your arrangements for your room and that. And there's many fine places. You can get Terra Nova Cabin right there across the street from the venue. You can get stuff here in town, Three Bear Lodge, Branding Iron Inn, Holiday Inn, World Mark. If you've got a member there, there's a lot of places to stay here. There's probably about 20 hotels in town that have favorable rates. And make sure you tell them you're coming here for the ice fishing tournament. Then for practice day on Friday, you can fish all day long up until 4 p.m.
Okay.
And the only thing that I would suggest for you on Friday is don't tell anybody where you fish. And by darn it, don't keep your fish. You want to catch them the next day.
Right.
I've seen people catch fish and I'm going like, okay. But you want to make sure you just train them that you're a nice person and you'll take care of them.
There you go.
But then Friday by 4, you have to be off the ice and go get freshened up, wash your hands off, come in for a rules meeting. The rules meeting starts at 5 p.m. We've got a few ancillary things that we need to do to make sure you got your welcome packets and, things like that we can give you. Mm-hmm. Then we'll do a quick rules meeting. We'll have a Calcutta where we'll sell all the teams that are registered, and you don't have to participate in the tournament to buy a team. You can be a family from another place. You could be a business owner in town. You can do that, but you must be present Saturday at our awards banquet to win. There will be no winnings given to anyone who's not in attendance.
That's right. We got to have the people there, man.
People got to be there. And that's one reason we moved it to Saturday, so that people didn't have to get back home for work. You still had time to get home to work. Mm-hmm. Then Saturday morning, you'll go home Friday evening after, and you're going to get all your fishing gear ready. The best piece of advice is to get rid of 90% of the stuff you're going to take and take only the stuff you're going to catch fish on.
There you go.
Then you get lined up and get in line. Your order of departure is the order that your team is registered. So I happen to know that the teams that registered first are people who have participated in the past, and they knew that. So they're watching. And when this came open in October, they registered. Mm-hmm. So they earned that position. As soon as we can get them inspected at 6:30, they're going to be able to leave and go to the ice. And so as everybody cooperates and we get things done, we get a little bit more extra time. And as soon as you leave the inspection, you can fish at any point and go out there. And there's walkers, and we try to let those guys go first and get out of the way. And then the guys with the big race machines and stuff like that, they go out. And you have some snow dogs. I wouldn't suggest a snow dog, although people do use them. They just have problems with the infamous slush monster here at Hebgen. That can be an issue because we get so much snow up here in the mountains. It can be an issue. But you get yourself out to your spot, drill holes, start catching fish. You got to catch 6 heavy fish, not the teeny ones that I do, the big ones.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Get on there, the big ones. But you got to get 6 nice fish to weigh, and you select which 6 you're going to weigh. We're not going to tell you, oh, that one's heavier, let's include him. You choose what you think are the heaviest ones. So if you got a weight scale, use that. Okay. Surrender your 6 heaviest fish. Don't turn in 7, because anything you turn in over is a penalty against you. Whatever that fish weighed was a penalty, and it's your heaviest fish. Okay.
You don't want that.
And then you have to be in line to weigh in by 2 p.m. There will be a armed guard with a whip out there, not a gun, a whip, and he's going to just whip the daylights out of you if you're here after 2 o'clock. And he's going to say, move on, go in, put your stuff away. We'll see you at the banquet. It's unfortunate. We do have some people who DQ that way. Darn it. You know, the rules are the rules.
Be in line. Get in line
Rules
by 2.
are the,
yeah.
And
now what's it?
Then
go ahead.
We'll process all those guys as quick as we can and get in, because we wanted to start the awards banquet by 5. And I've got my hands full getting back to town on that by then. So when you register, it's going to cost you $250 a team plus some processing fees. Okay. And that money there, by who registers, 80% of that money goes into the prize pool. So if we get more than 50 teams, the bigger the prize gets. Absolutely. We had 54 teams last year, and I think the highest we've had is 72, and that was many years ago. But COVID really took a hit on things, and people got out of the habits and things. But get signed up. The more the merrier. You can have a father-son team, a father-daughter team. You can have a youth team, but they've got to do things on their own Saturday. You know, you have to stay 50 feet apart from another fisherman. You cannot get that close. There is no trading fish, no talking. You know, it is just game on. Yeah. That's a get after it and get those fish. But then, you know, when we get back into town, things lighten up at the weigh-in. People will hold their information quiet as to where they're at, but you can tell by the smile on their face what they just weighed coming out of that trailer.
Yeah, and that guy that's got the big grin, you know, he's probably going to be in the money somewhere. Yeah.
Yep. And we don't post it out there. Nobody knows the weights except for the team that's weighing. And we just try to do the right things and have a good, simple, clean tournament. And
so that's the key. Now, that $250 plus the other fees, that's for 2 people. That's not just per person. That's for 2 people. That's for the team. 2 people. Now, if somebody says, gee, I've never fished in an ice tournament before, I probably shouldn't go. I've never done that before. Do it, right, Garrett? I mean, anybody can win this thing. Yeah.
It's just as fair. Those people who walk out of the marina and fish right over along the highway or out in front of the houses at Kirkwood do just as well as those guys going clear down the lake to the dam or up around to the fire hole in front of that. Anybody, anywhere can win it. And yes, it's kind of neat and fun to have something fast with a lot of horsepower to get you somewhere, but you drive over a whole bunch of fish that people could catch. And some of our best placing people are walkers.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of state records have been set by people that have never fished before. So, you know, anyone can do it. And the thing is, just getting down to West Yellowstone and having some fun and all that, it's worth it. So I really hope everyone will consider this a wide open invitation, and let's fill this tournament up. Again, go to the podcast description. All the links are there. You can click it. Boom, you're right in. Get everything filled out. Do everything you need to do right there online, so you're registered and ready to roll. And then for the rest of the family that's come down with you, there is so many things to do, and we just covered a bunch of them. So make sure you do it. All right, Garrett, anything else you want to say before we head out here?
Well, keep your worms warm and your line tight and the rod bent. Amen. You know, that's the 3 things that we do.
Amen to that. And I can't wait to hear how things go and all the results. And I'm going to tell you, one of these days, I don't know if it'll be this winter, we'll see. But for sure, next winter, I am going to be down there during the Kids in the Snow deal and do a podcast with you out there on the ice. And
that would be awesome.
Watch some of that magic happen. So, all right. Well, thank you, Garrett, so much for your time, for everything that you do over these last 14 years. And let's have a great tournament.
Yeah, there's one last thing I thought of is I, again, want to go back to thank our military and our leaders for doing a great job. And we pray for you, and we hope for your safety, and are concerned about you and your families. Thank you. Thank you.
Amen to that. As I said at the beginning of the show, we have so many people all around the world, active military, that watch this podcast. We're honored by that, and I mean it. We are so honored that you take time out of the incredible things that you do out there, and you watch this podcast. So, yes, thank you very much. And, of course, all you veterans that have – the reason we get to do tournaments and things like this is because of you. So thank you. I'm glad you brought that up again, Garrett. Thank you. All right.
You're
well,
welcome.
gang, there you have it. Garrett Ostler's got it all going on for you. So I hope that you will check out all the links on the podcast description. You'll get involved. And remember, Roger has my email coming up. It'll be on the screen in a second. And if you got any questions, shoot me an email. I'm more than happy to get you in touch with Garrett and all that. Plus, we'll have phone numbers for you and all that on there. So anybody that wants to has questions of any kind, I've got Garrett's number there. I've got his email too. No excuses. We'll get your question answered, and we'll get you down here to West Yellowstone. Until we talk again, gang, you be safe out there. Be good to each other, and we'll see you next time here on the Montana Outdoor Podcast.
Thanks for watching the Montana Outdoor Podcast. You know, there's no way we could do this podcast without the incredible support of sponsors like Superior Hardwoods of Montana, home of the largest selection of in-stock, high-end wood products and flooring in the western United States. Let them guide you through the woods at superior-hardwoods.com. And of course, Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer in Missoula, home of Boss snowplows and accessories, and Diamond Sea Trailers and accessories. Go see them on the web at rmtte.com. We'd love to hear what you thought of this week's podcast. When you get a minute or two, shoot us an email and tell us your thoughts. Same goes if you have any questions for Rigger or this week's guest. Just send your questions or comments to downrigger@montanooutdoor.com. Hey, don't forget we should be dropping a new podcast this next Saturday. Until then, gang, we hope to see you soon out in Montana's great outdoors.